From the Detroit Free Press, I'm Robin Chan with today's Voice Briefing. It's Wednesday, August 13th, 2025.
I'm Adrienne Roberts reporting for the Detroit Free Press. More than 26,000 Motor City Canacarts and Rips branded marijuana vape cartridges are being recalled because they contain a potentially unsafe diluting agent. The vape cartridges, produced by Warren-based Sky Cannabis, are being voluntarily recalled because they contain MCT oil and should not be consumed. Michigan's Cannabis Regulatory Agency banned the use of MCT oil in vape pens in October, shortly after the CEO of a cannabis testing lab in Michigan told the Detroit Free Press that more than 30% of marijuana vape pens and edibles his lab tested contained either MCT oil, a synthetically converted cannabis oil, or pesticides. And a few recalls of vape cartridges that contained MCT oil followed.
I'm Jenna Prestininsi for the Detroit Free Press. As fall kicks in, leaves will soon be changing colors here in Michigan. To catch your best look at the fall colors, consider hitting the roads between October 9th and 23rd. The County Road Association of Michigan recommends nearly 30 routes in Southeast Michigan during that time period. The 2024 list includes routes across Macomb, Oakland, and Washtenaw counties. Each fall, the group announces the best scenic routes in the state. The information comes from Michigan's 83 county road agencies. To view the full list, visit freep.com.
Hey there, everybody. This is Omari Sankofa II, Pistons beat writer for the Detroit Free Press. On this week's episode of our podcast, The Pistons Post, Bryce Simon and I were joined by my dad, the original Omari Sankofa, to talk Pistons and play Sheet or Shell. Here's a quick snippet of our conversation.
What did you think of, obviously you couldn't predict, the Malik Beasley fallout, but, for them to go get Karras and Duncan Robinson, you watch Michigan basketball, you've seen those guys for years, obviously, just overall thoughts on the shift from last year's vets to this year's vets.
I think it was a good pivot. I mean, given everything that was going on, I think it was a good pivot. So Duncan is a bigger player than what we had. And so is the guy from Michigan. I can think of his name right now, right it escapes me. Karis LeVert from the LeVert family. So OJ's. But so yeah, that was a good pivot. You get more size. I think you're going to get someone who can play the one in LeVert. I think he can play some spots at the one. And I think that the defense that you're going to get from Duncan is comparable to what you were getting already. And so, and now you have a taller person, you have a bigger person, and that helps on the defense as well. So you might actually improve on the defense. And I think that Duncan has something to prove based on his contract situation. And so I think he's going to play harder to get that next better deal, which might be his last deal.
You can hear that full conversation in this week's episode of The Pistons Post, which is available wherever you listen to podcasts. And as always, you can find our latest coverage on freep.com/sports.
Find more from the Detroit Free Press on freep.com. That's FREEP.com. Thank you for listening, and you'll hear more from us tomorrow.